No Teddy Bridgewater, no problem for Vikings in preseason win. Seattle, when the Vikings sent their offensive starters out onto the field at Seattle's CenturyLink Stadium, it was Shaun Hill, not Teddy Bridgewater, who trotted out to the huddle to bark out Thursday night's first play call. Bridgewater was in full pads for the team's second preseason game, but he was parked on the bench, where he flipped through past plays on his electronic tablet and chatted with Hill whenever he returned to the Vikings sideline. A Vikings spokesman said during the game that it was a coach's decision to hold Bridgewater, who participated in all 3 team practices this week, out of the game. That led to speculation that the squeaky clean QB was being disciplined. Finally, after the Vikings beat the Seahawks, 18-11, coach Mike Zimmer addressed the issue. "Well, sort of. So, coach, why didn't Bridgewater play?" "Because I sat him." "Why did you sit him?" Jeff Wheeler, Star Tribune. The extent of Teddy Bridgewater's work Thursday night was to throw passes in warm-ups. "Because I wanted to." Was it precautionary or disciplinary? Teddy Bridgewater is the nicest kid in the world. There is no disciplinary action ever with Teddy, Zimmer said passionately. "It had nothing to do with discipline and it had to do with my decision." Was it a case of? "It was my decision. How many times are we going to go through this? It was my decision. Good enough?" Zimmer's explanation was vague, but Hill was certainly good enough Thursday. With Hill running the offense, the Vikings got off to a strong start against a Seattle Seahawks defense that has arguably been the NFL's best over the past few years. Wide receiver Adam Thielen made a nice adjustment on a slightly off-the-mark third down throw from Hill to move the chains, then tailback Matt Ejada caught a wobbler in the flat for another first down. The drive stalled, though, at Seattle's 41-yard line, and the Vikings were forced to punt after Hill was unable to connect with Thielen on 3rd and 5. Hill completed 4 of his 7 attempts on the opening drive for 34 yards. The next 3 drives lasted 3, 4 and then 5 plays, even though the Seahawks pulled star cornerback Richard Sherman and safety Earl Thomas. Finally, late in the second quarter, with their 5 starting offensive linemen still in the game protecting Hill, the Vikings got something going again. After a 12-yard completion to Ejada, Hill hit tight end Kyle Rudolph deep down the middle for a 32-yard gain. A roughing the passer penalty on the Seahawks during that big play put the Vikings all the way at their 19-yard line. "The safety really cheated over to our strength and Kyle did a good job on his release and I was able to pick up his angle and he made a good play on it," Hill said of the long completion. Tight end Michael Pruitt had a 12-yard catch on 3rd and 7. Then running back Jerick McKinnon, who got the start with Adrian Peterson again being held out as a precaution, ran behind left tackle Matt Callell for a 1-yard touchdown. The Vikings went for 2. And Hill found Ejada in the end zone to make it 8-0. That was it for Hill, who gave way to rookie Joel Stave with 69 seconds left in the second quarter. Hill completed 10 of his 17 attempts for 129 yards. He averaged 7.6 yards per pass attempt and had a passer rating of 82.7. Photos by Jeff Wheeler and #X2022. Jeff.Wheeler at StarTribune.com. Vikings strong safety Andrew Senjo sacked Seattle quarterback Russell Wilson for an 18-yard loss as Danielle Hunter assisted. More. It was not always pretty, but perhaps Hill's play will quiet some of the concerns about whether the 36-year-old is still a viable backup. He had been talk radio fodder in recent weeks, and the Vikings also reportedly inquired about Nick Foles before the quarterback signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. "It was great for Shaun to play," Zimmer said. "We had to take a good look at him and make sure that we're going into the season with a backup we feel good about. I thought he managed everything we did, the huddle. I thought he got the right checks in. And he had an opportunity to get the ball down the field. It was good."